selecting the sample for your research is an important step. When conducting a study, a researcher usually selects a group of participants to make up the sample from a much larger population of all possible participants. For example, for a study on school readiness among those children who attend Head Start, the sample may include 2 Head Start sites instead of all the sites in the nation. Ideally, the researcher typically wants to have a representative sample, in that the participants in the sample closely match the characteristics of the population. This increases the generalizability of results to the larger population. Using our Head Start example, we would want to ensure that our sample is similar to all Head Starts by having similar demographics in terms of participating families, but also staff. A representative sample should be unbiased in that it can be used to discover what the population is like. When a sample is not representative, then a sampling error has occurred. For example, if our Head Start sample was mostly white and their parents were more educated than the national norm, then we cannot conclude that our sample is representative. Therefore, any conclusions made from the study cannot be generalized to the intended population. Except in cases when the population of the study is small, like when the impact of a single program is studied, the researcher will have to select a sample. Sampling is the selection of a subset of individuals from the larger population by estimating representative characteristics. Regardless of the type of sampling, the sampling process comprises several stages. First, define the population of concern. Second, specifying the sample frame that lists characteristics of the population. Third, specifying the sampling method for selecting the sample. There are many ways to compose a sample. Some of the most common sampling methods include random sampling that uses procedures aimed at ensuring the sample is representative of the population. This is to say that the entire population has a chance of being selected. Systematic sampling, in which the population is arranged in some ordering scheme and the sample is selected based on this order. Stratified sampling is when subgroups of the population are sampled independently. And cluster sampling separates the population into subgroups, and samples for these subgroups are randomly selected. The fourth stage of the sampling process is determining the sample size. The researcher wants to make sure the sample is large enough so it has power to detect effects. The final stages are to implement the sampling plan and commence with data collection. Now what? Here are some questions to consider. What is the population served by your organization, and what are its key characteristics? What sample method would you use to study this population?